can be frustrating if you're feeling super fit and healthy heading into Christmas, and then your local pool is closed, the roads are too icy to go cycling or running, and you're surrounded by unhealthy treats and snacks. But if all else fails, there is something you can do to compensate, and you can start by following this HIIT style session we've designed specifically for triathletes. All you need to do is clear a bit of space in your home, and if you've got someone else around, why not get a friend or a family member to join in and make it a little bit more fun. We'll start with skipping, which is a pretty straightforward exercise, and it's great for getting your heart rate up and your body warm ahead of the rest of the exercises. Now try and focus on something on the wall in front of you to keep your chin nice and high. You want to keep your shoulders level, and the idea is you're bouncing on your toes, trying to make quite a small movement, but speed it up and try and maintain that speed for the whole 1 minute. For this exercise, you need a step and just a little bit of space. We're going to split it in two. So the first 30 seconds, you're going to work one leg, and the second 30 seconds, the other. And the whole point of this exercise is to work on your hip drive. So it's great for running. And the idea, you want to think you're driving your hips forwards and up with each step. So to start with, you're going to lift up your right foot, for example, and then place it in a fairly quick movement onto the step and drive up through that hip, bringing your other leg to 90 degrees using your arm in parallel. Then as you step down, you're going to lift this foot just off the step to 90 degrees, back down and drive again. Really remembering keeping your hips square, facing forwards, and keeping really good posture, thinking of the driving forwards. This is an explosive movement. It's a plyometric exercise that's going to help your glutes to really start firing, and it's great for making you more reactive when it comes to the run. So basically, you're going to be driving up onto the box, landing with both feet together, knees bent. From there, you're going to step back down. Make sure you alternate which leg you step back down with, because that's eccentric loading in itself, and you've got to try and maintain really good form for the full minute, and you'll find your heart rate will really go through the roof by the end. Well, this exercise is quite like speed skating, and you actually see the speed skaters using this in their strength and conditioning. So it's a diagonally forward sideways hop. So you're going to be driving from the supporting leg. So in this situation, I'm going to the right diagonally forward. So I'm driving off my left, and the idea is you land solidly on your right leg. If you've got enough room, do a few going forwards, and then when you get to the end, you're going to reverse it and go backwards. So then you'll be driving from the right leg onto the left, pushing back. When you're coming backwards, you're using predominantly your quads and the fronts of your legs. When you're going forwards, you'll be using the glutes and the backs of your legs, your hamstrings. So this is a great exercise for cycling. Don't worry if you haven't got enough room to go diagonally forwards and backwards though. You can do it in a lateral space. So you need about this much room, and you're going to jump from one leg off to the right, then back onto the left leg, landing on that, and you'll get pretty much the same benefit. And remember, for this exercise, you've got to keep this going at full intensity for the full minute. This is a swimming specific exercise, so using a TheraBand or improvising with some other elastic you can find. You want to attach it to something solid that's going to be about shoulder height when you're bent over from the hips. If you are using a door though, make sure no one else is around or going to be coming through it. And you want to take up some tension, lean forwards, and then have a slight bend in the wrist as though you were doing your swimming stroke. Remember to keep the elbow high as you would when swimming. And from here, you're going to pull all the way through. So double arm pulling movement. But if you've got a really stiff TheraBand or a stiffer piece of elastic, then you can break it into two sections, and you can do 30 seconds at the front of your stroke, so sort of the front part of your catch, and then you can do 30 seconds at the back. Now again, with this exercise, it's about good form. So for these switching jump lunges, you want your hips facing forwards, but also keeping them level. So when you actually land, you don't want to be dropping on either side. So it's really important to have strong core engaged. So it's a great exercise for running. And you'll also be using your arms to replicate that motion and helping with the explosive activity. Press up is pretty straightforward. You want to have your hands just outside of your shoulders, palms facing down. Now don't worry if you think you can't do press ups. I didn't used to be able to either, but there's lots of ways you can make it a little bit easier. So first of all, the basic press up, you want to get into a plank position. Even holding that will be engaging your core and your shoulders. You want to have your shoulders in a nice neutral position, not too high up, not drop down. From here, you're just going to bend your elbows, lower yourself down, try to get your nose to touch the mat if you can. If you're finding that too hard, go onto your knees, but make sure if you're on your knees, you're not sticking your bottom in the air. You want to keep your back, so the line from your knees to your shoulders needs to be straight, and then just lower down from that position and back up. and try and keep these going for the full minute. This is another core exercise, but it really focuses on the muscles on your back. So a lot of extension movement for this. So you're gonna lie face down and you're gonna be working diagonals. So opposite hand and arm to opposite leg. So starting with your arms out in front of you. As I lift my right arm, so the whole arm's gonna come off the floor, I'm gonna lift my left leg at the same time, focusing on squeezing my glute to do so. So as I lift this arm, I squeeze my left glute and lift the leg up. Hold it, lower it back down, and then onto the opposite side, squeezing my right glute, and lifting up my arm, focusing on really squeezing all the muscles on the back side of your body. This core exercise, you want to focus on holding everything tight around your middle, and no cheating because you can a little bit on this one. So you're basically making a slight V shape or a bit of a U, I suppose. You want your shoulders just off the ground and your feet just off the ground. And you're going to do a kicking motion with your legs, and that dynamic movement just adds in a bit more of a challenge to the core. Just as you would with any other training session, make sure you put in a cool down and finish off with some stretches. And I know it can be frustrating at this time of year if you can't get out and you can't do the training that's on your plan. But with a bit of flexibility, you'll be amazed at how you can actually maintain a decent amount of strength and fitness. If you've enjoyed this, give it a thumbs up like, and to subscribe to GTN, just click on the globe. And if you want some more ideas on indoor training, then Mark's made a video on ThoroBand exercises just here. And if you are lucky enough to venture outside and you want some tips on cycling in the wind, just watch this video here.